People paying money to see me in a 20x20 ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition, episode 85, if you will, of the 20x20 Ring Crew. I am your co-host, Joe, once again back here at the 20x20 Crew Studios with my brother from another, Matt. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's going on?
We're back, episode 85. It has been quite a tumultuous 2 weeks for the both of us.
To say the least.
To say the least, yeah. And but we're here. We're talking wrestling. We have tons to talk about. All sorts of fucking shit going on. We're going to forego talking about our Good Brothers tournament for another week.
Get those brackets filled out.
Yeah, get those brackets filled out. Definitely would love to hear some more feedback from you guys. We'll be posting stuff on social media to kind of give you a better picture of that first round of brackets. I know it was pretty interesting to us with the way it ended up being.
Yeah, there's some good first round matches.
Bracketized. As always, we have wrestling on in the background, and thanks to the beautiful invention of dual screen technology here at the 20x20 studios. We, on screen number one, which is the smaller screen, we have Monday Night Raw happening live. And then on the other, larger screen, the more important screen,
yes,
we are watching the finale of New Japan Pro Wrestling's King of Pro Wrestling Tour. Right now, it is the U.S. title bout with Juice Robinson and Lance Archer. Jon Moxley couldn't make it in because of the tsunami, and so he was stripped of the U.S. title, if you guys weren't aware, and so the title became vacant, and they just decided right before showtime that, hey, Juice Robinson and Lance Archer for the title, no DQ, which was something both of them agreed to right before the bell started.
Couple things. First of all, I do gotta correct my partner. This is actually the October 14th episode.
Oh, my bad.
No, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, of Raw. Not that it really matters. It's something extra to throw on TV. I'm playing catch up, to say the least. But you don't see this style of match in New Japan very often. We're seeing tables, we're seeing chairs. They're really going at it. Another thing too. Obviously, it goes without saying, here at the 20x20 Ring Crew, our thoughts are with everybody in Japan who's affected by that.
Absolutely.
By that storm. It fucked with a lot of people. Obviously, their lives, but as far as the wrestling goes, it wasn't just New Japan that was affected by that. But they did get hit pretty hard with it. I mean, I know the dojo was flooded.
Yeah, dojo was flooded.
Yeah, some problems with that too. So, there was a lot of things on this particular card, the King of Pro Wrestling card, that took place on October 14th, that they had to switch some things around. Some people couldn't make the show. Obviously, Jon Moxley being one of them. That was probably the biggest one.
Yeah,
I think without a doubt, because that involved the championship. He is stripped of the title. That is just something that they do. The Chris Charleston was explaining that, because I'm thinking, when I'm hearing that, I was like, why did they have to do that? But apparently, anytime that you are advertised for a championship and you cannot compete, no matter what it is, you are automatically stripped of the title. That's just he mentioned something along the lines of Hiroki Goto that happened to him. He used a couple other examples of where they were a champion. I think Goto got the flu or something like that, and they're just like, okay, well, you're not champion anymore.
Wow.
I'm not a big fan of that.
No, neither am I. But hey, C'est la vie.
That's the thing about New Japan. It's whatever techniques they use in yesteryears, they're using today. You're dealing with international wrestlers. You're dealing with a guy that is from the United States trying to make it to Japan during a very bad storm, to say the least. And I mean, another guy there is Lance Archer. Lance Archer, Joe was telling me that he was one of the last international guys that made it to Japan. Kevin Kelly, who does commentary, it's commentary for them.
He showed up 10 minutes before the bell time.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big situation here. To me, there's got to be, there's a reason why the word exception was invented. I mean, there's got to be exceptions to your rules. This wasn't hey, I have something else going on, or something came up as far as like another wrestling company or something like that.
This was a natural disaster.
Yeah, you can't control that. He can't make it. He can't fly in. I'm assuming pretty much every flight eventually got grounded. Yeah. So this is what are you supposed to do? Yeah,
the other big name that was not able to make the show was Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr. Right, that's another one. He was unable to make the show. We see Lance Archer win the IWGP United States Heavyweight title. Making it keeping it within the non-Japanese talent. Is that something that they're going to keep doing with this belt? Because I think only one Japanese wrestler's ever competed for the belt.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do, especially since we got the word today that New Japan has officially announced expansion into the U.S. They're doing it via dojos. You will see, I think it's 5 or 6 different dojos, as they're calling it. As we see David Finlay return from...
It's good to see him back.
Yeah, from a long stint off. I think he had shoulder surgery, if I'm not mistaken. But, New Japan announced they are basically invading the States with dojos. There's going to be one... There's 2 on the East Coast, one up north, one down south. Mm-hmm. We're going to see one in our neck of the woods out here in the Midwest, which will include 7 states and 6 cities. There's going to be one dedicated to Texas with 4 cities in Texas. And then, of course, the LA Dojo, which is already established. I think there might be one more. I could be wrong about that. But kudos to them. They've got huge plans. Also, if you didn't hear, they bought Stardom. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
New Japan has officially purchased the Stardom promotion, so...
Is it safe to say that we're going to see them more on the network?
I think... I think this is their approach to including women's wrestling in their product.
God, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, we were watching Tyson Fury square up against Braun Strowman, and he's trying to break a pen.
Yeah, he's trying to snap a pen and he can't do it, and that's the end of the segment. Great work here. Speaking of which, I just want to point out, and I promise you, I'm not going to go on a rant on this because there's no point. But Kofi Kingston officially dropped that WWE Championship because of Saudi Arabia. So thank you, Saudi Arabia.
Well, thank you, Kofi, for doing the right thing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shitty thing to do, but I should say it's a shitty reason. Or a shitty situation to even begin.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. It sucks the way it happened.
Oh, he's going to be there. He's going to be in Saudi Arabia. He dropped the title so Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez can fight for the belt.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's shitty the way it happened, and I'm sure he, even though he's participating, I'm sure he has his gripes with that whole situation. But hey,
sure. But
that's crazy.
This is the thing we talked about so many times with the Saudi Arabia thing. do the shows. You know, you have a contract. This is year 2 of a 10-year deal. Do the shows, but don't let it. I mean, with all due respect to Saudi Arabia, this is pretty much a glorified house show. Nothing more, nothing less. Give them fucking Hogan. Give them fucking Flair. Give them fucking all this shit. Give them Shawn Michaels again. I don't give a fuck. Just don't fucking do it. Don't put your championships. Don't strip champions of their titles, so you can do the Saudi Arabia show, and that's it. So
yeah,
that's my issue with that. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I got a couple questions for you regarding WWE though. One thing, because I'm looking at the card here for Crown Jewel. When did Chad Gable change his name to Shorty G? And what is his gimmick now?
So this happened at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Okay.
The match was Chad Gable versus King Corbin.
Right.
And King Corbin came out, say that 5 times fast, and he immediately cut a promo on Gable before Gable came out, and essentially was just making a bunch of short jokes about Chad Gable. And he said, being that he is king, he is making the royal decree that he is now called Shorty G. And Gable kind of went with it and basically said, like, hey, you're not going to be laughing at me once I beat your ass. And he did. He beat Corbin. I think it was via DQ, but he beat him. And backstage, he was interviewed. Gable was interviewed, and he kind of owned up to it and was like, yeah, you know what? I'll be that guy. Because guess what? I just beat his ass. So, what can he really say?
Yeah.
That's how that came to be.
So he doesn't change his gimmick. He's just Shorty G.
He's just Shorty G.
Cool.
Yeah.
A couple other things, too. I've been paying a little bit more attention to WWE because I want to be as universal as possible. Pun
intended.
Pun intended. when doing this podcast. So... that's where that's where the second TV comes in handy. The situation with Rusev and his wife or ex-wife or whatever they are.
I'm not sure what is going on. I don't know if it's a work. I don't know if this is. I don't know.
It's just a little weird.
It is weird,
yeah.
Especially when you have him showing up on, Monday Night Raw or pay-per-views, and they're asking him, like, what's going on at home, and he's like, never mind that. He does address it, even if it's in the least bit.
Right, exactly.
But, I don't know. I don't know where that's going. I don't know if it's going anywhere. I don't think it adds anything to his character or his persona. He's not coming out more aggressive or anything like that.
I mean, he had the bit. Was it? I think it was the October 7th edition when he's about to. So they start Raw, and it's very abrupt. It's extremely abrupt. Apparently, they're talking about Raw now on Today. So that's happening now.
Yeah, Today and Good Morning America.
Because there's nothing else happening in the world besides fake wrestling. But it was supposed to be Rusev and Orton. The show starts abruptly with Orton Orton and Corbin beating up on Rusev. Again, that was kind of more to plug the Saudi Arabia 10-man tag match between Team Hogan and Team Flair, which is whatever. It's fine. Lana is on the screen again. She's in bed. Or no, it's actually Bobby Lashley's in bed, and then in comes Lana. And, by the way, she's a fucking horrible actress.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Oh, I gotta talk about this shit, too.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that in a second. Because this shit is so fucking corny. I'm gonna let all the listeners know what's happening here. Oh, my God. But, yeah, it's just... to me, it's just... It's weird. They're not doing... This would be the first time that real life situations, if this is indeed a real life situation, has transpired into some kind of storyline.
Yeah.
It's happened quite a bit throughout wrestling.
Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit.
That's the first thing that popped in my mind, too.
Kurt Angle and Jeff
Jarrett.
Jarrett.
Yeah. So these things happen. And they usually end in some pretty good rivalries. But, But I'm not so sure if let's say Lana is two-timing Rusev, I'm not so sure it really is with Bobby Lashley, and this seems like a forced gimmick. Like, if you're going to do something like this, as much as you don't want to have somebody to live their personal life professionally, if you're going to do this and try to get as much emotion out as possible, Matt Hardy and Edge, another one.
Oh yeah.
You know, be real.
Yeah.
So maybe Bobby Lashley is sleeping with Lana. I don't know. It's not my business, but if they're gonna make it our business, let it be real, because it seems really fake and really forced. But there was that one sign of aggression where Rusev beats up Orton and Corbin after he sees Lashley in bed with his wife. I don't know. It just happened out of nowhere. Like, Rusev comes back, he looks like fucking Mexican Mario, and and then now all of a sudden he's dealing with infidelity with his wife.
Shouts out to my Tio Chewy.
Yeah. So back to what I was laughing about, this shit that I was talking about.
Oh, good lord.
They're doing the draft. This is a draft on Raw, and they went full out like this is not. There's no general managers anymore. It's now the networks. The networks are drafting. So you have Fox and you have USA, and the head of the networks are represented there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're told. If this is like they're making this out like this is like a legit like the fucking NFL draft or some shit like that.
They had the fucking robot.
They had the
NFL robot.
The Fox robot. Yeah. I mean, like every time they do it, they draft pick. Like there was one, I think it was for, it was somebody that was just okay, and I think it was for the fucking New Day.
Yeah.
And they're just like fucking dancing around like where they just won the fucking Super Bowl. First, okay, here's the thing. You want it to be real, all right? You want to do real sports. I know Becky Lynch is over. I know Becky Lynch is money. Some people might have an issue with what I'm about to say here. Who the fuck? And I get she's a champion, but who the fuck in their right mind would not draft your top champion first?
On this episode of Who the Fuck? Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is, and by the way, that was the doing of the networks. The networks wanted a little more realism, and that was their pitch to the to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon okayed that shit. So there you have it. It was comical. It was
stupid.
It was stupid. It was stupid. Yeah.
It's so badly done and so like over the top that it very much looks like a Vince McMahon thing. Hearing that it's the networks, like I know they got what was it, WWE Backstage.
Yeah,
that's on Fox now. After does it go on immediately after Raw or excuse me SmackDown?
I don't know.
Because if it does, it's funny because it's competing with WWE product in 205 Live.
205 Live,
they've completely given up on 205 Live that they're putting another WWE show on against it. But yeah, it's just so nonsensical that Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar both don't go in the fucking first night. They're both on the board. Your top champions are on the board. And, another thing, too, like Eric Young, or excuse me, I almost said Eric Young, Robert Roode, I guess maybe because he used to team with Eric Young back in the day. Roode and Ziggler, they dropped the titles to the Viking Raiders. Viking Raiders are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. And what a coincidence, the next segment, they get drafted, Roode and Ziggler get drafted to SmackDown. How does that happen? Like, were we really going to draft the Raw Tag Team Champions of SmackDown? No, we weren't. We were going to wait for them to drop the titles. This is what I mean.
Yeah.
Anybody buying this, like, you're a fucking idiot. This is exactly everything that we said it was going to be when they did real sports. It is very easy to do real sports. I'm using it in quotation marks because this still is professional wrestling. It still is kayfabe. But you could do real sports. You want to know how you do real sports? Just look at what fucking New Japan's doing.
Yeah.
Look at what like almost every other company, major company, is doing right now. Like, there's no fucking drafts. There's no fucking executives dancing around because they drafted the fucking New Day. Like, there is none of that nonsensical bullshit. It's just wrestling.
Yeah, why can't we just watch wrestling, man?
Why is that so hard?
Oh my god.
Why is that so hard? But it's not hard anymore. And I have yet to watch it, but I am so glad for my partner here because he was telling me multiple times before we started recording and even in past days that a piece of his childhood is basically back.
Dude, I'm getting goosebumps. You just talking about it, man. We're talking about NWA Powerrr, the Power Hour. Hot damn. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody who's been listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you ever wanted the epitome, the complete example of what I grew up on as a wrestling fan, as a pro wrestling fan, please take the time, go on YouTube and watch NWA Powerrr.
It's free.
It's free
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday at 6:05 Eastern. Man, I was happier than a pig in shit. No bullshit, man. I loved every minute of it. The promos, the set is completely vintage. The old school NWA colors are back. It's Jim Cornette is commentating with Joe Galli. They make a great team. The squash matches were great. The promos were great. It was fucking beautiful. Like, no bullshit. At the end of the first episode, I cried. I sobbed like a fucking baby because I was so fucking happy. It was just something that I've been wanting to see return for so fucking long. It's great. I can't get enough. I've watched first episode like 5 times already. I've watched the second episode 3 times already.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. So, and my daughter is yet to experience it with me. We keep missing each other in that manner. She's caught up with other stuff with me, but yeah, no NWA Powerrr yet for her. But I can't wait. I want to sit down and I want to watch it with her. And just. It's simple. It's simple booking. It's simple wrestling. It's nothing complex.
Mm-hmm.
You have your heels. You have your baby faces. It's all there in black and white, and it's great. It's fucking great. You have all these newer stars. Today's stars.
Yeah.
You're seeing them interact like they would years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy to see that because we don't get to see that anymore. Episode 2, you have James Storm come out and talk. And, he's cutting a promo about how he's the bad motherfucker and all this other stuff. And he's glad Tim Storm lost. Spoiler alert: Tim Storm lost against Nick Aldis. Okay. He can no longer compete for the 10 pounds of gold. And so he's like, I'm glad Tim Storm's gone because now I'm the only Storm that matters. That's James Storm. Okay. And he's going on this big promo, this rant, and it was great. But Eli Drake walks in. And he cuts him off and he's like, hey man, I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here to disagree with you. James Storm, by the way, had told the crowd that his national championship is just a prop, and he's basically using it as the catalyst to get himself a shot at Nick Aldis' title.
Okay.
And so Eli Drake's like, hey man, I'm not here to disagree with you. You're right. It is a stepping stone. You're right. You should be the next guy in line. He goes, but I want you to do one thing for me. He's like, as you can see, I'm not dressed to fight. I don't want to fight you. He goes, but do me one favor. after you go against Nick Aldis, whether you win or you lose, just remember your boy. And he walked away. And it was great. It was succinct. It was to the point. There was no muddled bullshit. There was no fucking stupid robot draft. You know, there was and to counterbalance that, there was no strong style. There was no. It was everything that has been lacking in professional wrestling. And I hate to sound so long-winded about it, but it's important because it matters. It matters that they took the time to truly represent themselves as their own individual entity.
Oh, absolutely.
And I bring that up specifically because we were talking about the WWE, and I think already the NXT brand is falling victim a little bit to that notion of where they're not trying to be themselves. They're trying too hard to compete with AEW. And AEW is another company that is out there doing their own thing. They're doing what they want to do with their roster. And so NXT, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed their shows, but you can tell. You can tell something's slightly off. And it's only going to get that much more interesting as to how this all plays out, because now you do have this draft. You know, we do see people like Finn Balor coming back to the brand, which, for all intent and purposes, as far as I'm concerned, it's a good thing.
Sure.
But like Samoa Joe was rumored to go back to NXT. Now he's been drafted to Raw for sure, so we won't get to see him, which is a fucking shame because he belongs in NXT, man. He really does.
So, I'm not, this isn't some, like, motivational speech for anybody out there, and I'm not, like, the most successful guy in the world, but I'm going to throw it out there that I've accomplished a lot in my young life, and I started doing that when I made myself my competition. I wasn't worried about trying to be better than my partner here. We used to work in the same 9 to 5, or anybody else, or whether it was any other person, whether at my job or in school or whatever it is. I was trying to be the best version of Matt. Where I was at today, I want to be better tomorrow, and that's what AEW is doing.
Yeah.
Are they looking at ratings? Sure. Are they pointing out the fact that they've won the ratings war? It's been a clean sweep so far.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, have they pointed that out? Yes, they have. But when it comes to the actual product, they are, with the exception of, maybe some jabbering on Twitter, especially by Chris Jericho, who, by the way, is an executive vice president, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
You have a company that since day one, since it was announced back on January 1st, their biggest goal is to be better than the previous show. That's what Cody said at their Double or Nothing. Whatever we do today, we have to top. And it's not because of what somebody else is doing over in Stamford, Connecticut, or Atlanta, Georgia, or anywhere, or Tokyo, Japan, anywhere in the world. It's because we need to do what's better than what we put out there, and that is just such a recipe for success. NWA is doing the same thing. You look at a company like what Eric Bischoff did with WCW. That's one of the main reasons why that company eventually failed. They looked too much at what the competition was doing. How do we become better than them? That's not what you should worry about. Your competition is always going to be yourself. And so it's important that New Japan does what New Japan does.
Absolutely.
It's important that AEW is AEW. And it's important for NWA to not do what New Japan is doing or what AEW is doing, or sure as hell what WWE is doing. are you going to see potentially elements of that shit at some point? It's fair to say, because a lot of what pro wrestling is, at some point, there's going to be some repetition.
Sure.
That's just the nature of the business. Especially in this era where we are able to see it all.
Yeah.
You know? The territories, it's not what it is from yesterday. We can see the territories happen, you know, and it's just a beautiful thing, in my opinion. But, you know, it's that kind of mentality, you know, that's going to give them success. And hopefully more people carry on and give this company another chance, because they've done everything in their power to revive this ancient species that is the NWA
Yeah.
and breathe a new life into it. And I'm playing catch up. It's not because I didn't want to watch it. I'm playing catch up. I have full intentions on watching both shows, and by the time you guys listen to this episode, there'll be 3 episodes of NWA Powerrr. That's with 3 R's. Why is it 3 R's? Is that
So when you look at the graphic,
Yeah.
in the background, it's NWA, the word power, but it's like the R's trailing off,
okay?
and so people just started using the hashtag with 3 R's.
Okay.
So they have essentially like, hey, our fans call it Power with 3 R's, so now it's Power with 3 R's.
Sure.
They're just going with the flow.
Fair enough.
But it's NWA Power.
Okay. I mean, and so much great talent on here. I mean, both episodes, you get Royce Isaacs and Thomas Latimer. By the way, Royce Isaacs also the United Television Champion based out of the UWN. Champs of Wrestling from Hollywood. You can catch that every Sunday on Fight TV. You go to our website, 20x23.com/podcast/FITE. Oh boy. Again, that's /FITE, fight for fights. And you can check it out every Sunday night. You can get $15 in credits on us if you become a new subscriber. And yeah, it's tons of great free shit on there. Reality of Wrestling, which by the way, they just had a YouTube special.
They did.
They had a tournament that happened. I watched all the first round. Really good tournament so far, but I'd have to check out that pay-per-view that they put. It was free.
Yeah, free pay-per-view.
It was free pay-per-view, so that's really cool. A lot of good talent on there. Champs of Wrestling from Hollywood, Champs of Wrestling from Arizona, Rocky Mountain Pro. Let's not forget PCW Ultra, Mutiny. You and I were talking about it, and we said we agreed on this statement that it reminds us of the old school ECW TV show.
Absolutely. If you're a fan of the old school ECW, you need to be watching PCW Ultra Mutiny. Free on the Fight Network. If I'm not mistaken, the first 8 episodes were not available the last time I checked.
Okay.
So you have to start with episode 9, but the way they do their like recap or whatever, you're not going to miss a beat.
Yeah. It's a really well put together show, and again, it just a subtle reminder that it does not matter one tiny bit how big your audience is. That is such a small venue, but man, that crowd is just absolutely going nuts. And there's a reason why, because those cars are just absolutely stacked.
Oh yeah!
On Friday, October 18th, or just recently passed, they had a show. It was called Into the Void. They even used the Into the Void by Black Sabbath theme. My God, I mean, these 3 matches alone. You have Jacob Fatu versus Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match. You had Joseph, who is Jacob Fatu's tag team partner, versus Homicide in a dog collar match. And
man.
and if you watch the tag team match those two had prior to this, you'll realize why they did a dog collar match. It was a really, really like hard to watch spot.
Yeah, it was.
They beat the piss out of each other, though, to say the least.
That's an understatement, man. Oh, good gosh.
And that title match, Mil Muertes defending the PCW Ultra Championship versus Savio Vega. And I don't want to hear anybody say, you mean the Puerto Rican guy from WWE? If you mention WWE when it comes to Savio Vega, give me your wrestling card. Like, no. Watch Savio Vega matches outside of WWE. You'll understand why this is a big deal. Tons of other good matches. Sumi Sakai is their women's champion.
That's right.
The Lucha Brothers are on that card as well. So tons of good shit up and down that card. And if you subscribe to Fight TV, again, 20x23.com/podcast/FITE, you can get that entire show for free on us if you are a new subscriber. So take advantage of that and watch.
As well as, I can't not sit here and not talk about MLW Fusion.
Yeah, that's also on there.
That's also on there. It's free.
Every Tuesday night.
Episode 80 was out of this fucking world. They were co-promoting with the Crash out of Mexico, out of Tijuana, Mexico.
That's their newest partner.
Yeah. Jimmy Havoc took over the show, and it became the Slaughterhouse. And pretty much every fucking match had some sort of blood in it. It was crazy. There's a death match on that episode 80, between Jimmy Havoc, Damien 666, and the aforementioned Savio Vega. I think that's a perfect match to watch. If you're only familiar with Savio Vega from the WWE, holy shit, you need to watch this match. Just his usage of a kendo stick. He's probably one of the few people who actually uses a kendo stick like it should be used.
Yeah.
And when you see him do what he does to both Jimmy Havoc and Damien, good God, it is bloody. It is a sight to see. That's for damn sure.
I definitely gotta play catch up on that. Speaking of MLW, it's a good time to plug them a little bit too. Again, there's so much going on, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in the Chicagoland area, I mean, you have such a plethora of happening this fall. I mean, we just had Bound for Glory.
Yeah, that's right.
Next month, you do have NXT TakeOver War Games.
War Games, right?
You do have Survivor Series, and I know we've been tough on WWE. I'm hoping Survivor Series pulls out a good card. I hope all their cards are good cards. They generally aren't. But then, as we see a nasty bump here with Kota Ibushi versus Evo again. This is King of Pro Wrestling from October 14th. This is for Kota Ibushi's title match for Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not a fan that they do that.
Yeah, it's the whole briefcase thing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
To be fair, that was a receipt from earlier.
Yeah,
because Evil took a fucking chair, a steel chair, wrapped it around Ibushi's neck, and took another chair and proceeded to baseball swing at him, and completely fucking knocked his block off, basically.
Kota's has some pretty bad bumps. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Kota's has some pretty nasty shots to the head this year. I still think of that Wrestle Kingdom. It was a Wrestle Kingdom, right? With him and Ospreay.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, the apron bit. Yep.
Ospreay killed him. Ospreay did the same. He did that same different that his finisher with that elbow.
Uh-huh.
When he did that to El Fantasma on this card.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like, dude, why'd you have to pick him up for the Storm Cutter after that? Like,
yeah,
you just killed him.
Done.
You killed him.
He's dead. He's already dead.
Going back to MLW and wrestling in Chicagoland, obviously we're biased because we are from Chicagoland, but fuck it, it's the best wrestling city in the world. I said it. And we're getting the inaugural MLW pay-per-view. It's happening on Saturday night, November 2nd. It's right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Saturday Night Super
coming
Fight.
up quick.
And, I mean, just real quick, this is what you're going to get. You know, you got gimmicks. We're going to talk the gimmicks for in a second here.
Sure.
But let's drop all gimmicks.
Okay.
No gimmicks, no titles. Potential match of the year candidate if they play their cards right. Timothy Thatcher versus Tom Lawler.
So my daughter is not familiar with Timothy Thatcher, and
Better
her and
get
I,
recognized.
her and I were watching episode 80 of MLW Fusion, Jimmy Havoc's Slaughterhouse. They start showing the card, and I didn't know that match was going on, or I had forgot, whatever. But they show it, they bring it up on the screen, and it's like filthy Tom Lawler versus the one and only Timothy Thatcher, and I lost my shit. I was like, yeah, you know. And she's like, what are you so excited about? I'm like, 2 words, Timothy Thatcher. To see him wrestle is such a treat, but also he's in MLW now.
Yeah.
The amount of talent on that fucking roster that he's going to get to go up against potentially, oh my god, I'm chomping at the fucking bit to watch.
Tons of great fucking matches you can have there. We said gimmicks. You mentioned Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc going 1-on-1 against Mance Warner. Stairway to Hell match.
Stairway to Hell.
So you got a wrestling clinic, and now you have this.
It is going to be a ladder match where the prize at the top of the ladder is barbed wire. As much barbed wire as you want to use on your opponent. This is all because Mance Warner basically had to miss a good month or so thanks to Jimmy Havoc, because Jimmy Havoc took barbed wire and not only fucking pretty much serrated his entire scalp, but he also tried to choke him out with barbed wire. So you can actually watch that footage on the Fight Network for free. They have it for free now.
Yeah.
If you're hell bent on watching it, which I suggest, if you're any kind of a hardcore fan, please do so. But I'm telling you right now, it's fucking hard to watch.
Yeah. The rest of the card, I'll name it off real quick. You have the trio of Injustice: Jordan Oliver, Cotto Brazil, and Myron Reed, all phenomenal wrestlers, by the way, versus the team of Gringo Loco, Puma King, and Septimo Dragon in a 6-man tag. And then the rest are all title matches. Dynasty, MJF, and Richard Holiday. Yes, MJF wrestles for 2 companies, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he does.
They are defending the MLW World Tag Team Championships against the Von Erichs, Marshall, and Ross, who you will hear more about in the coming weeks as we talk about the Good Brothers tournament. You have Alexander Hammerstone versus Davey Boy Smith Jr. for Hammerstone's MLW National Openweight Championship. Teddy Hart defending the MLW World Middleweight Championship versus Austin Aries. And of course, the first match that was made for this card, Jacob Fatu. Yes, he also wrestles for 2 companies, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, probably more than that. But he's defending the MLW World Heavyweight Championship versus the legendary LA Park in what should be a very, very good, hard-hitting match. So that is happening. If you can't be in the Chicagoland area, Cicero Stadium in Cicero, Illinois, I don't even know if it's sold out. It should be if it isn't. You can go to our website, 20x20crew.com/podcast/FITE and get $15 towards this event and only pay $5 at the end of that. You have to be a new subscriber. That's the only catch. Other than that, there's no BS from us. That is the only catch. We're telling you right now. Be a new subscriber. I don't care how you become a new subscriber. Just become one. Get this show. It's only $20 for this entire card.
That's insane.
And you can get it for $5.
Oh, that's so
That's
insane.
a hell of a deal. So check out our friends over at Fight TV and save some money while you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a hell of a card too. That is, I know what I'm going to be doing.
I told Matt before we started recording, I'm like, there's something in the back of my mind. Why am I not going to be able to watch live MLW's pay-per-view, and then it dawned on me, my wife is treating me to a ghost tour of Chicago for an early birthday gift. So I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's another thing I'm into, but it really is heartbreaking for me to miss this fucking live. Don't get me wrong, I'll go back and watch it, especially if it's only $20 fucking bucks.
Yeah.
I told Matt I had to rewind the commercial. Like, wait a minute, it really is only $20 for this fucking show? Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, that card is stacked, so stacked, and I'm so glad. I'm much like Matt. Fucking Chicago is the greatest wrestling city in the world. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. November 2nd, they're gonna light Cicero up like fucking crazy.
And that's a hell of a venue to see a wrestling show.
There's not a bad seat in that house. I love those fucking bleachers.
If you could get, that's what I was gonna say. If you could get bleacher seats, just get bleacher seats. And I'm telling you right now too, if this is something that you're into, I've never been to an MLW show before, but I'm gonna say it's safe to assume that getting meet and greets, if you're into that, one of the easiest venues to do it in. And I remember we saw Evolve and Progress there back in 2018
on the same night.
Same night, Matt Riddle, Tony Storm, Walter, Zach Gibson, James Drake, Priscilla Kelly. And I think it was not including the T-shirt that I bought from Walter, because that's merchandise. It was like $25-$30 to meet all of them.
Yeah, fucking crazy.
Can't beat that.
No, you can't.
Can't beat. I mean, just a lot of times they're just walking around. Just,
yeah.
Old school ROH, at the Frontier Fieldhouse. So. I mean, it's not a bad seat in the house, and again, there's a reason why AEW and now MLW are having like their first big show in Chicago. So, sorry, Philly. Sorry, but we beat you.
On that note, we're gonna stop and pause for the cause, as Stone Cold likes to say. Yeah, we're going to go pay some bills. Hopefully you love our sponsors, and we're going to try to keep picking up new ones here and there. But yeah, that's what we're going to do right now. Take a breather, and so stay tuned, and we'll be back for the second half of the show.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, think you can tell us what to do?
I can't tell you what to do.
You think you can tell us what to wear?
I can't tell you what to wear.
You think that you're better?
Hell no, I'm not better.
Well, you better get ready.
But I am smarter.
Bow to the masters.
I'll bow to the masters. The masters over at Ray's. Ray's will hook you up with all kinds of discounted gift cards for your favorite places to eat, for your favorite places to shop online and in store. They have any place you could possibly think of, and they even have discounts on ride-sharing services like Lyft and Uber in case you guys need to make it to a show. So hop on over and support the show. Support your 20x20 crew. Visit us for more information on Raise and discounted gift cards over at 20x20crew.com/podcast/raise. That's RAISE. 20x20crew.com/podcast/raise. And we got 2 words for you. Save money!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back from taking a break. Hopefully you have visited one of our sponsors. Thank you as always for listening and helping us pay some bills. We greatly appreciate any support we can get from our beloved fans. As always, we are watching wrestling again on 2 screens. Screen number 2, we got tired of watching Raw and all that chicanery, shenanigans, what have you.
Stick to just one for now.
And on the big screen, we are watching AEW Dark. I believe this is the 2nd episode, which took place in Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Boston.
The air date was October 15th.
It was a wicked patty.
Pretty Peter Avalon.
Yeah, as we see Peter Avalon come out with Leva Bates. Again, he's the librarian.
Yeah.
I was just remarking to Matt how AEW Dark feels like a whole nother show sometimes. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It just goes to show the depth of variety that their roster has. And I haven't been unpleasantly surprised yet. So whatever they're doing, man, keep doing it. Like, they are definitely their own organization. That's for damn sure. Even with Peter Avalon shushing everybody as he comes down to the ring, he cuts a pretty scathing promo on the city of Boston. Again, if you haven't watched it, please head over to YouTube and check out AEW Dark. You can also do it through our website, 20x20crew.com/podcast/AEW, where we have links to their shows and tickets and the whole nine. So, with that being said, I was remarking to Matt, on this episode, there's a match, an unsanctioned match between Kenny Omega and the bad boy himself, Joey Janela. And it is the main event of the episode, and you don't want to miss it. You absolutely don't want to miss it. It is a brutal match, something that you normally don't see Kenny Omega do. But he comes across very thirsty for a win, and it's a horrible, sickening game of one-upsmanship between Janela and Kenny Omega.
Oh, man.
I think that's the best way to put it. Oh, also, so this first match is Peter Avalon versus Kip Sabian versus Sonny Kiss in a three-way. There's a spot where Kip Sabian injures his finger. I'm not sure exactly what he does.
Oh, okay.
But I want to say he dislocates it.
Oh, shit.
They don't show it on the camera, but the trainer, there's a ringside trainer or doctor. He either pulls it back into place or pops it back into place, and he continues the match. That's fucking hardcore, man. Like, I was cringing when it happened because I've sprained each one of my fingers, believe it or not, at least twice throughout my entire lifetime. So I know all those pains, and I felt it all over again when I was watching it. Just much like we did earlier when we were watching Juice versus Lance Archer.
Oh, yeah.
Lance Archer. And you get to see him jam his finger, and it's gross. There's like a lump right past his knuckle. It's like, oh, good God. But AEW Dark, have you watched any of this yet at all?
I've watched the first episode.
The first episode?
This is my first time watching the episode 2. Again, that's on YouTube.
For free. Yeah.
For free.
Yep.
It's on, I think, 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
Or no, 6 o'clock Central, I believe, 7 Eastern.
Oh, okay, 7 Eastern. On Tuesdays.
Speaking of Kenny Omega, it's important to note, too, again, they swap talent. Kenny Omega is the new champion. He's the AAA Mega Champion. He knocks out Phoenix. That was on October 19th at the AAA show. I haven't watched that show yet.
No, neither have I.
I'm not sure if that's on Twitch or where that's on, but I'm sure we can find that somewhere on the old WWW machine. But Kenny Omega is now the Mega Champion. Is it safe to assume? Now, we haven't seen, as of this recording, we haven't seen the October 23rd episode of Dynamite because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Does Kenny Omega come out with that belt?
It's going to be interesting because if you remember back, what was that, a month ago probably?
Yeah.
They had said right after All Out that you would not be seeing the AAA tag titles on their show anymore. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, where does this leave the Mega Championship? Is it going to be part of the show? Do we get to see it?
Yeah.
Is it like a YouTube exclusive being the Elite kind of thing where
sure.
we only get to see it there? I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because let's face it, That's huge. When you're trading talent and that kind of politics can have you be part of some relationships with strange bedfellows, you never know. But it's always good. It's always good to see titles on other shows, especially if you're part of the independent crowd. So
and let's face facts. If you're AAA, you definitely want that American audience become more exposed.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, they just recently did a show
in New York. They took over New York.
Take over New York, and unfortunately, they didn't do the Garden, and it has nothing to do with WWE. It has to do with everything with low ticket sales.
Yep.
They technically did the Garden, but it wasn't the main portion. It was the Hulu Theater, which is inside the Garden, so it doesn't quite count. Gaining exposure, and I'm not saying that Kenny Omega needs to headline the Garden for them, but gaining exposure like that would be so beneficial for them, gaining more audience on the northern aspect of their company.
Absolutely.
So it's huge. It's huge. Now the benefits of AEW. Well, this would potentially please your partner by advertising their belt on your show, and they'd be more inclined to say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you more of our talent." You want it to make it where it's beneficial for everybody. And for me, in my opinion, I think it's beneficial. He doesn't need to defend that title on AEW. You don't need to make it a huge thing for AEW.
No,
but just have him wear it.
Yeah,
and even. Let Excalibur or whoever talk about it briefly, and that's it.
Yeah,
you've done the job for that belt, and that's it. As far as Kenny Omega and the AAA Championship, keep it in AAA. That's fine, but just that advertisement would be so beneficial for both companies, but in this case, especially AAA. Is that the spot?
Yeah. He dives onto Peter Avalon. They show the replay. Boom, and they're bam.
Okay, yeah.
So he
bracing for impact, and
I'm pretty sure he dislocated it. You'll see he rolls into pretty much the corner of the ring, and you'll see the trainer come and look at it, and then they do. Yeah, see. He goes and looks at it, and then whatever he does to it, he gets back into the match. He's like, here, let's just try this. Pop.
Peter Avalon here. Some people are, they laugh at the Peter Avalon gimmick. All of our listeners from the West Coast know Pretty Peter Avalon is a legit player. Had a great run as a tag team specialist with Ray Rosas. You can check him out in Champion Wrestling from Hollywood.
That's right.
But yeah, they were PP Ray. Not the greatest tag team name, but they were a hell of a tag team. It's cool to see him on the bigger, the bigger show here, if you will. But speaking of Champion Wrestling from Hollywood, I just found out that Scorpio Sky still frequents there.
He does. He was actually on there very recently.
He had a match against Roy Isaacs.
That's right. It was against Roy Isaacs
for the title. Good match. Really good fucking match. Good match. So Scorpio Sky is still very much in the independent scene as well, which is cool because he brings a lot to that territory. And with that being said, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood is very much a lot of that talent is NWA based.
It is.
I mean, we've seen guys wrestle for multiple companies before. Is there likelihood of Scorpio Sky going down and doing a couple shows in Atlanta, Georgia, every once in a while? And would that be beneficial because he's a hell of a talent? And
it would anywhere that guy goes. For me, he's that caliber of talent.
Yeah,
it's well deserved, and let's face it, if he shows up on NWA TV, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely a good thing for both the NWA and Scorpio Sky. Will it happen? I don't know. I know Billy Corgan had said the NWA won't do business with at least one company that's not the WWE, and for the life of me, I can't think of who it is right now. I want to say it might be Impact.
Okay.
But Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Maybe Ring of Honor.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, you know what? You're right. It's probably Ring of Honor because they ended their relationship with them. So
kind of abruptly too.
Yeah, very abruptly. Like what was that? NWA
the Summer Supercard.
Yeah, there was somebody else that pulled out of that show too.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. So,
but speaking of Impact, we were just informed in the headlines that I believe it was Scott D'Amore who tweeted out that the Impact Wrestling brand is going to bring back for an anniversary show, one night only, the TNA brand. It's going to be WrestleMania weekend, sometime in April of 2020. So they want to do a reunion show. They want to bring back old talent, and they reached out to the Young Bucks because the Young Bucks aren't doing anything that weekend. If you guys don't know, AEW has taken the stance of not piggybacking off of any WWE shows or situations. So you will never see an AEW show take place during WrestleMania weekend. With that being said, the Bucks have not responded yet as of this recording, but the idea is to bring them back one night only as what was that, Generation Me?
Generation Me.
To take on the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh.
Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. So I'm excited. I would love to see that match all over again. They've never done me wrong. So, but what do you think? You think the Bucks will bite and show up, or is TNA without Generation?
As much as I would like to see that match, I don't know. I don't know if we will. It's different. If this was any other organization, I would say probably. They're not doing anything. We've seen them pop in small venues before, or smaller companies before, but
sure.
This is Impact Wrestling. This is a totally different beast, and they're kind of competition.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be in AEW's best interest if their two executive VPs show up on the card. I love it. I think it's a great idea, but if I'm a gambling man, I'm saying it doesn't happen.
Okay.
That was announced officially in Chicagoland, by the way. That was at a show called All Glory, Impact Wrestling All Glory, is at Marionette Park.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay.
Yeah, it was a plethora of wrestling companies putting on some of their best wrestlers that work for their cards. Black Label Pro, Warrior Wrestling,
so they
Ohio Valley Wrestling.
They probably ran the show out of that bar venue.
Yeah, it was 115 Bourbon Street.
Bourbon Street, yep.
Yep, that's very well known.
AAW's done shows there. There's other small indies that have done shows there. Yeah, pretty popular wrestling spot in the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, it looks like a very good card, but yeah, that's when it was announced. It was officially announced, and let's stay on the WrestleMania weekend topic here for a second. AEW not doing a show. I get the idea of not piggybacking. But what say you? Is that the right move, or is that a missed opportunity at another major event and really just what everybody else is doing and grab as a good way to just grab a bunch of talent?
I don't think they need to.
I agree.
I don't think they need to. I think they're comfortable enough right now where their partnerships are working for them as opposed to against them, and they have quite the roster already. I really don't think they're going to hurt from passing up on that opportunity. What I will say is it's going to be very interesting So AEW has taken the stance, hey, we're not going to piggyback off of WWE shows.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a two-way street, and I'm interested in the other way. Are we going to see eventually WWE piggyback off of AEW shows? Especially when they're in their backyard, when they're in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, that's already happened. They didn't want, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't necessarily an AEW show per se, but it was a show with the Bucks and Omega and Cody, where it was the whole Madison Square Garden thing. There was talks of them working with Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor was going to do the Garden, and Vince tried to put the kibosh on it. Like,
yeah.
You guys are not just going to fucking run up against me. And then they put NXT. NXT was there, and then they ended up changing it to a different night. But I think that's probably going to be the more common of the two ways that we see, is because that's what it seems like they're trying to do.
We saw that with Fight for the Fallen. I mean, it wasn't a WWE show per se, but it was Evolve, and
yeah, you're right.
They made this big spectacle of the Evolve 10th anniversary show, which took place not on the 10th anniversary.
No,
so it didn't need to happen that night. But they made it a big deal. NXT TakeOver UK happened the same day as All Out, even though there was a time gap there because they were in Wales. But yeah, so we've seen that. We've seen that. I don't know if they got anything planned for Full Gear, but
don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised. They run some kind of special. So yeah, I think it's by use of their network, the WWE network. They have this almost free range of this. Oh, you're putting on a big show? Yeah, we got something going on that night too now, and they've always done that. If you go back to the ROH days,
okay.
Remember the issue with San Antonio?
Oh, that's
where
right.
you had the elite running an ROH show in San Antonio, headlining San Antonio event, and then out of nowhere, WWE puts NXT in this big show. They're going to bring Shawn Michaels. It was in San Antonio.
Yeah, right across town. Basically.
Right across town, and they lost. WWE lost that show, but they still attempted that nonetheless. So like, it's something that they've always done, and it's not on accident. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting the next time we have. I'm gonna assume we're gonna call it All Out for the second All Out event, or the equivalent to that.
Yeah, whatever that may be.
If not saying that they're going to run, if they, let's say they come to Chicago, not saying that WWE is going to come to Chicago, but are they going to put a show on that night to compete? And it seems like NXT is the guinea pig to do so. But yeah, it's a really interesting and almost like a mature decision for AEW. It's like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of what I talked about. Like, we don't care what WWE's doing. WWE's doing WrestleMania. Okay, cool. We're going to do our own thing, and that's perfectly fine. And I'm not taking a shot at any company that is piggybacking on WWE, because that's also good business.
Yeah.
And it's we've seen how well it's worked. So kudos to everybody that's involved in that, and kudos to Ring of Honor for starting that. Really,
yeah,
they were the first ones to do stuff like that, and now it's a thing. So not only just WrestleMania, but now you got SummerSlam, and I don't think Survivor Series got anything quite yet. But
not yet.
It's possible. Royal Rumble has something a little bit going on, but not quite to what WrestleMania is, and that's because it's WrestleMania. But yeah, I agree. I applaud AEW to just sticking to their guns and just worrying about themselves. It just makes more sense, because for them too, they have that reputation of being the competition, and you don't want to be that clean competition that tries to put themselves everywhere that their competition's at. Just you win by just being better than what you were last week. So I like that decision. I do like that. As I'm going to like this match. This looks like a really good one here. Shima and SCU teaming up against the Dark Order and the team of Jack Evans and Angelico, who have a name now, I think.
The Hybrid 2.
Hybrid 2? Okay,
Yeah.
So another 8-man tag team match, back-to-back weeks with 8-man tags. Can't go wrong with a good 8-man tag with a lot of high pace action and a clash of styles.
Man, the other one with Private Party and Lucha Brothers, and oh man, that was fucking crazy.
Were you surprised that Private Party knocked off Young Bucks in the first round?
Hell no. They're getting people over.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
You're a young and up and coming company, as Jack Evans shows us that the SCU sucks, and you have the means to do it. Why wouldn't you? You know, and it isn't like Private Party isn't deserving. Like, that's a hell of a tag team.
That's a great tag team.
So, yeah, absolutely, man. I was not surprised at all. My daughter, you know, she still believes a little bit. There's a little kayfabe there for her. So,
okay.
She was highly upset that the Bucks lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the point where, like, she lost her appetite. Didn't want to finish dinner. She was,
That bad,
she was
huh?
pissed off, yeah. But, yeah, it is what it is.
I just hope she never watched because I'd always get on Mr. Wrestling 6 about this, like the Young Bucks face my favorite tag team, Dumb Boys.
Oh man,
because they seem the Briscoes always seem to have their numbers. So
yeah, man.
But will they in the tournament?
Ooh. That's a very good question.
Which again we're gonna dive into next week. Fill out those brackets. And let's have some fun with this, man.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I've already had a few people kind of in my ear about what they think, and I'll share that next week.
Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting the way our brackets worked out, and I'm excited. I'm really excited.
And when I'm doing this, I haven't quite filled out an entire bracket myself yet.
Mm-hmm.
But just going through that first round, this is so fucking tough. It's just there's so much going on, and again, love that clash of styles, and I'm just glad we were able to come up with something like this. This is really just
absolutely
a great another great brainchild by the Ring Crew. So,
on that note, we are gonna call it quits for this week. Wrap things up.
Play catch up some more.
Play catch up. I was telling Matt, I don't know how I did it. I'm all caught up on New Japan. I honestly, there's, you know what it feels like? It feels like I got abducted by a UFO and like time just ceased to exist. But I was able to watch wrestling.
Yeah. While
I was quote unquote gone.
Ain't no wrong with that.
No, not at all. I've been pleasantly surprised, and we got, speaking of tag team tournaments, you still have the AEW tournament happening over the course of the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But also don't forget the sleeping giant of tag team tournaments right now is the Junior Tag League.
Yes.
Over in New Japan, and let me tell you, I watched the first two shows. Holy shit!
you go Super Junior Tag League, which goes into Power Struggle,
right?
And then what do we do? Go right there. We just have the heavier guys do it all over again with the World Tag League.
With the World Tag League, yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be a really good close to 2019.
Absolutely.
Per usual with these New Japan tournaments. And for everybody that has a problem with New Japan doing so many tournaments, piss off. That's all I have to say. These tournaments are fucking great, and it's like the ultimate clash of styles. I mean, what do you want?
On this episode of Piss Off. On that note, again, we are going to end the show. You can hate tweet Matt at 20x20crew on Twitter. Instagram photos of you flipping Matt off over at Instagram.com/20x20crew. I'm interested to see those.
Hashtag piss off.
Yes, hashtag piss off. We're also available on Facebook. Facebook.com/20x20crew is our official Facebook page. But you can also come and talk to Matt and I on Facebook. That's right, we have a Facebook group. Facebook.com/groups/20x20talk. And believe me, there are times where the most random thing gets said, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? It's always interesting. We're also available on YouTube in the form of the following contest. We had rave reviews over our first part of the CM Punk episode. We got a lot of CM Punk fans that listen to the show. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But I look forward to doing part 2 with you here soon.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely
The old noggin's been cooking up some more.
pick your noodle about that one. But yeah, we do exclusive content for YouTube in the form of the following contest, where Matt and I book fantasy bouts left and right. So you can find that over at 20x20crew.com/podcast/YouTube. It'll take you directly to our YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Any and all efforts to support your 20x20 ring crew are greatly appreciated. You can always email us, 20x20crew@gmail.com, with your question, comments, concerns, middle finger pictures, nipple pictures, you name it.
There's got to be some newcomers with, like, nipple pictures.
Yeah, no, I've had that happen. Like, what is that all about? Well, you know. But if you really want to find out, you can always check out our archives over at our home on the web, 20x20crew.com.
Our wonderful WrestleMania review episode.
You know what? That is like one of our highest rated shows.
Was it?
Yeah, highest listened to shows.
See, I thought people would just get tired of me complaining the entire time.
And you know what? And here's the thing. Like, we do more than our fair share of bashing of the WWE.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, there is that love-hate relationship with our listeners. Well, those of who are WWE marks at least. But yeah, for whatever reason, our WrestleMania shows are like the tits to a lot of people. So thank you.
Yeah. If that's what you want, I will watch it again next year for you. I do it for you guys. It's like we said episode 84. Just give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Oh man, I'm gonna go home and watch NWA Powerrr all over again. I'm not even gonna lie. 20x20crew.com is our home on the web, where you can find merch, all of our past episodes, you name it. It's all there in a nice little package. And I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
I plugged everything.
Plugged everything.
20x20crew.com/podcast/Amazon. Please, it doesn't take anything extra for you. You don't get charged any extra fees. You just visit that link, shop on Amazon as you normally would.
Yeah.
You help support us here at the show, provide us, enough money to pay the hosting bill and what have you, and keep the show free for the most part.
Yeah.
Free for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I want to shout out to one of my favorite sponsors at 20x20crew.com/podcast/GameStop.
GameStop.
Guys, they just started this a couple weeks ago. They have what's called the weekly deals. They have every Wednesday and Saturday.
Is it a weekly deal or a daily?
Daily deal. I'm
it's
sorry,
a daily deal. Right? Yeah.
It's a 24-hour deal. These are some really good prices on these things.
I'm excited. I'm really trying to figure out why they just now started this.
It seems like a really just good idea,
right?
And it's not only that too. It's online only, so they're trying to clean out their warehouse.
Sure, yeah.
But hell, that's benefiting you as a consumer. I mean, these are not only just video games, but it's their pops, it's their mystery boxes, other type of collectibles.
There's instructions over at 20x20crew.com/podcast/GameStop, where if you want to order online from GameStop through us, there's a way to do it where you're saving even more money on top of that daily deal. I know that's mind-boggling to some of you, but it's the truth.
Well, and then you can also save more money if you use a gift card.
And you can do that through us too. 20x20crew.com/podcast/raise, RAISE. And again, discounted gift cards. If you shop, much like my brother here, Matt, does at GameStop, pretty frequent shopper to say the least. He's a huge video game collector. You can do it and not hurt your wallet as much.
You know, I don't have the collection I have because I make a lot of money. I have the collection that I have because I know how to save money.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we want to do. We want you to save money. We want you to help support the show, and we want to thank everybody that has listened, that has supported the show, whether it's via sponsorship or just by being a listener. You guys taking the time out and giving us, lending us your ears for an hour or so every week, it means the world to us. 85 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. 85 episodes. I want to send a special thank you to my partner here for his patience with me. It's been a very trying week, a couple of weeks, but we're getting back to the groove of things. How Matt got his groove back. as I play catch up to one of my main loves in this world, and that's professional wrestling. As always, support professional wrestling. And we're going to do that. We did it this week. We're going to do it next week and from here on out. So until next week, I've been Matt. He's been Joe. You guys have been fantastic. And until episode 86, we will see you in the ring. This edition of the 20x20 Ring Crew has been brought to you by Amazon. Get your Amazon Prime subscription today. You get unlimited music, unlimited ebooks, unlimited movies and TV shows available through their Amazon Prime subscription, as well as free 2-day shipping on many products through Amazon.com, as well as in certain areas, 1-day shipping. So if you're an impatient person like me, you can get 1-day shipping. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, don't forget the unlimited photo storage, too. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't have anything on my photo storage as of yet, at least nothing I could share with the public, but
Ooh.
it's photos of me and Kenny Omega. Are you jealous?
I don't even want to talk about it. Tell them where to go. That's all I got to say.
You can find more information on Amazon Prime subscription through us, and by doing so, you'll help us here at the show. You don't have to pay anything extra. You sign up for Amazon Prime through us. You get 30 days try out Amazon Prime. You can cancel anytime. We still get the love from Amazon. Go ahead and check us out at
20x20crew.com/podcast/Amazon.